You're listening to Titans of the Trades. I'm your host, Ryan England, author of Hire Better People Faster and creator of the CoreFit hiring system, a proven process to help growing companies attract and retain only the best. I'm on a mission to revolutionize the perception of the trades and elevate it to new heights. After growing up in a blue-collar family, my passion for making the trades cool again runs deep. If you're a titan in the industry and want to be on my show, stick around until the end and I'll reveal how you can be my next guest. I'm your host, Ryan England, and welcome back to another episode. It's not every day that I get to interview someone for the show that is doing something so closely aligned to what we do at Core Matters that we're almost able to finish each other's sentences. I want to introduce today's guest, Clifton Savage with Service Leader Systems, and the focus that they have on contractors and helping them recruit, train, and retain. And I want to put a huge emphasis on train because it is something that we all know that we need to be doing, and we're not doing it. So let's jump in. It's a great episode. We're going to learn about some of the strategies and tactics that Service Leader Systems is using, but also some of the things that you can be doing to help train and retain your best people. Clifton, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ryan. Glad to be here.
So it's not every day that I get to interview someone that is solving the same problem for the same group of people that I am. So I'm looking forward to today's conversation because I'm sure we have different approaches and different experiences that led us to here. But what I'd love to know before we jump in is into the greater conversation. You work with service contractors and you've been doing this for a while, and you're specifically helping them right now with recruiting. And then if that works out, then you move into training and retaining, because I know, you probably know, retention is actually the biggest problem that these contractors have, not just recruiting. So tell me, why is it that either your clients or the industry as a whole, why do you think that recruiting is such a hot topic, something that they all struggle to solve?
No, that's great. Because like you just said, yes, the most important thing is retention, right? But recruiting, training, and retaining are, they affect each other. So it's like a three-legged stool. And word travels, right? Just as we are trying to market our businesses, and a lot of us, no matter what, are still reliant on word of mouth. A lot of companies are not proactive at generating positive word of mouth when it comes to their company culture and the employee satisfaction, which affects the recruiting.
Got it. So it sounds to me like it's, I mean, this is what I get to say too. It's really a marketing issue.
Yeah, 100%.
They're not promoting the right message. They're not getting it out there. They're not doing that stuff. So what are some ways that contractors can solve this problem? What are some things they can do on their own? Or what have you seen work, or even what's not working?
Well, yeah, number one, obviously, is assess where you're at right now, right? So assess the company that you have currently. Where are the problem childs? Where are the lack of systems, the lack of leadership, having an honest, look in the mirror. And that's the biggest thing. And that's why I work with the top-down leadership, even though we're pretty much helping the front lines and middle management. That's where the struggle is, right?
Yeah.
That's where they feel the most pressure. I'm working directly with the top-level management, owners, C-suite, because honestly, we're the problem, right? We're being irresponsible or uneducated in some way. And so we need to fix that. And it starts with them.
Wow. Yes, I absolutely agree with you. Pace of the leader, pace of the pack. If your people are getting mixed messages or mixed signals from you, they are going to promote mixed messages or mixed signals, and it just makes things even harder. So when it comes to these contractors that you're working with, and we're talking about recruiting, what have you found that they need to stop doing? And then what are some things that they should start doing to help solve this recruiting issue?
What they need to stop doing. First off, I guess you could say they need to, and you might have your opinion about this too, so I'd love to hear it. They need to stop promoting all what this candidate has to do, and maybe squeezing in a line or two of what the company has to do for the candidates, right?
Yeah.
Like a company's like, hey, this is this role, this is what you have to do, this is the certifications you need to have, these are all the pre-screening qualifications. Maybe we'll talk about what we'll do for you after we get through that. And it's just either a complete turnoff, or you attract the people that are just going to work the system to their benefit because they're like, well, this isn't a friendly relationship, so I'm going to figure out for myself. So they're sending that message. So they need to stop that.
Yeah.
That stuff's important, but that shouldn't be the first impression.
Yeah.
And so what they need to start instead is showing the opportunity, showing the excitement of that position for a particular type of person, for a particular place in their life, and how that fits in with where the company's at and where they're going.
I mean, the reality is people don't leave jobs, they leave people.
Yep.
And
100%.
when we put out that bulleted list of all the things that you have to be able to do to succeed here, we're talking about the job. And if we know that people are leaving a person, a boss, a leader, a team member, we need to promote that. So I am in complete alignment with you. And that's where we start promoting the culture and we start promoting this stuff. And it's funny because I hear people tell me all the time, oh, that's that foo-foo stuff that bleh, I don't want to do that. Like that's what they do in Silicon Valley. And I always ask leaders, I'm like, so are you implying that the people on your team have no emotion? They don't care about this stuff. And what I found is that especially in the contractor space, the people on your team, the frontline people, they care about one thing more than anything else, and that's their family.
Yeah. Yep.
And the second you remove emotion and you make this about a job, you're basically saying, I don't care about your family. I just care about getting the work done.
Yep.
And that is one of the biggest challenges that I see that these contractors have with attracting and even retaining people. Because if you want people to care about your business as much as you do, which I hear all the time, nobody cares as much as I do. If you want them to care as much as you do, you got to care about them as much as you care about your business.
Exactly. I mean, it's service first, right? As the owners, we're supposed to serve our people first.
Yeah.
And then the rest essentially will take care of itself, right? But we're like, no, we're pitting ourselves against them. And then we wonder why they leave or why they're toxic, the toxic person in the company when they're the most experienced or the highest performer, but yet there's this tense, toxic relationship. And you wonder where that comes from. Just like, in a household, right? A family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shocking.
I have people tell me all the time, I have guests on the show that talk about the trades and the things that they've learned and, letting go of those toxic people and realizing that maybe they need to change, or heck, even like you said, look in the mirror and they need to change. Yep. You need to change. If you look around and you're like, I don't see any toxic employees around here, you might be the toxic employee. Okay. So we all got them. We all got them. So what are some simple things? I love coming away with tactical things that people can do when they're listening to this. What are one or two things that people can get back to the shop, turn on their computer, or go talk to somebody? What are some simple things they can do to go help them with the recruiting side of things?
First things first, if they obviously want to reach out to someone like you or me, if they want to bypass that and try to figure out themselves first, they need to do their homework, right? They need to see what good employees are looking for. Who is that? What are they saying out there? You can find it because people are venting their frustrations online, on a lot of these other Instagram pages or TikTok or Facebook or what have you, right? Because we're posting about the business, we're posting about our personal lives, like you said, family, right? And our personal side. And so the feedback is out there. It's not direct to you, but the feedback is out there. Go do your homework and see what people are complaining about and realize that most likely your company's in that same bucket, and figure out how to then go to your team and say, hey, do you guys have these same frustrations? Hey, do you guys have these same wants?
Yeah.
How can we talk about that and see what we can come up with? So yeah, it's definitely a reflection of what's happening in your company, but then realizing that you are part of the problem, unfortunately, because that is the case at pretty much all companies right now.
I love that. Instead of making decisions in a vacuum or reacting, let's go out there and let's find out what people want. Let's find out what's working. Let's spend the time doing that. I think that's great advice. Too often I see people, especially contractors, they throw money at the problem thinking that's going to solve it. Yeah, they don't even know if that's the problem they should be focusing on. And what you're saying is go do your research, go do your homework, figure out what's 100%. Really going on. But let's say that you look around at your team, because I've seen this. You look around at your team and you're just like, I don't want to ask these people their opinion because I don't want more of them. What's something else that they can go do? What's something else they can go do?
Oh, so you're saying they don't like who they have on the team currently? They want something completely
I
different.
don't know if you've ever run into that, but I've run
I
into that.
have. Oh yeah, I definitely have.
So what's something else they could do to really help them with the recruiting piece? I mean, we've talked about messaging, we talked about culture, we talked about the right kind of boss. Are there any other tactics that they could go do? For example, I hear a lot of people say like, "Oh, you need to be recruiting on social media." What's your take on that?
I think, yeah, social media is another tool to get your message out there, but you have to be mindful of your messaging, right? That is going to the right audience and is resonating with the right person. I found in other, contractor Facebook groups and this, that, and the other, people asking for advice on recruiting, whether it's for sales, service coordinator, foreman or whatever. And each of those positions has a unique set of skills and personalities that fit that build. So you have to be very mindful of that, right? A receptionist is not the same as a service coordinator. I have
Yeah.
learned that from experience numerous times.
Yeah.
People don't, oh, just picking up a phone, right? No. So understand the personality behind it. And kind of like to your point, Ryan, is if you don't have that personality right now in your company, when you go out to a restaurant, when you go out to your local grocery store, when you go out to your local community events, or your family and friends, and you're around certain personalities, you're like, hey, that would be an amazing receptionist. That would
Mm.
be an amazing foreman. Talk to them, get to know them better, understand their personality, what makes them tick, and then say, okay, how can I find more of you? You want a job?
Yeah.
Okay, well, if not, how can I find more of you? And then put that message out there to those platforms.
Oh,
Because me personally, I'm not going to be on some, social medias because of business. I want to be there because of fun, because of my passion, like motorsports. So you got to meet them in the right frame of mind
yeah.
with the right message.
Oh, I think that's great advice, and I think that uh, don't be afraid to have those conversations just because they don't have the skill set. Because I can see that
Yeah.
happening too. I don't want to go talk to that waitress, even though they would be amazing,
Yep.
because they don't understand the business. They don't understand
Mm.
it. Here's the reality: if you are in service world, your business is people.
Yep.
And if you meet a waitress who's amazing with people, guess what? The stuff you need to teach them about your CRM or components or whatever, that stuff's easy to teach. The people part is the hard part. And it doesn't matter if you're out there laying bricks, you're in the people business.
Yep.
And so just know
Exactly.
that. So that's great. So that's recruiting. And then you also have components around train and retain. Talk to me about the train piece. What does that look like? What should it look like for those
Mm.
people who are listening? They're like, oh, I have a training program. I train people. What should it look like?
Well, to your point, what you were just alluded to, Ryan, is say we find this magical person right out there, whether it's at another company, another job, and then you bring them in and they need to learn the industry or they need to learn the way you guys do business. Hopefully,
Mm,
one, it's the right way, it's the most efficient way,
yeah.
the most profitable way. And then two, how do they learn that quickly, accurately, and they retain it? So you're not having to constantly either go over something again or they're making mistakes or they're like, hey, this is too difficult. I'm going to come up with my own way.
Yeah.
So to your point, one, you got to lay it all out there. So it can't be tribal knowledge. You can't have to sit there and teach the person over and over again and waste all this time shadowing,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's a time and a place for that, but usually it's a lot more bloated than it needs to be, right? That onboarding process. And so if you have a good training program in place where things are more automated, things are more available to them to learn at their leisure, and then be able to show, hey, this is what I have learned. This made sense, or hey, I'm still struggling with this, and being able to very easily kind of put them in that process and then have a good feedback loop is everything. Because yeah, if you fix the problem of recruiting and then you got people coming in the door, but you don't know how to train them, they're going to go right back out the door. I
Yeah.
mean, you just wasted all that time and money.
Are there any specific tools that you use when it comes to training, like a learning management system, or is it just all Word documents? Like, what do you find is the most effective way to transfer that knowledge and get it in front of somebody?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Number one is for those that don't have anything written down and documented. A Word doc is very, very, let's start there,
Better
please.
than nothing.
Yeah, it's better than nothing. It's pretty much free, right? It comes with your Microsoft or your Google Workspace. So just make it happen. You're already doing it, right? Document it. But no, Trainual is a big platform a lot of people talk about and put out there because that's a great way to document things. Using Loom, the video, recording app that shows you all the steps. If you're doing something on a computer, for example, is a great tool as well. But what we do is we house everything. I've scoured a lot of learning management systems over the years. And I found a nice happy medium with utilizing a company called Safety Culture.
Okay.
And their learning management software. They also have a training book focused program just called Safety Training. It was formerly called EdApp. They are now actually changing the name. So by the time this comes out, it's probably going to just be Safety Training through Safety Culture. But that is a great user-friendly, mobile-friendly learning management software that I encourage people to use. They can start with it for free themselves. They can do it themselves. Just depends on how fast they want to get everything built and, if they're able to do it themselves. So that's been a great tool for us.
Yeah. One of the things I hear, especially leaders, we both talk to leaders a lot. We work with leaders. They're like, they're just not doing it the right way. And I ask them, what's the right way? They're like, my way. I'm like, great. What's that? And they're like, it's the way I do it. And well, what's that mean? Can we write it down? Well, I don't know how to write down the way I do it. Just do it. And it's like,
yep.
And sometimes I'll tell them, I'll say, you know what? Go get a little tripod for your phone, set it up on your desk or set it up on the job site and just think out loud and just record yourself thinking out loud.
There you go.
And then at least people know what your way is, or they're at least closer. But
closer.
If you can't communicate what your way is, they're never going to do it your way.
No matter how good they are and they want to, you are setting them up for failure. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Safetyculture.com. I'm going to make sure that that's in the show notes. Listen to that. You may not be super excited about new technology, and especially if you've got an older workforce. Clifton, I know you see this. I don't need to learn another tool. Like, we didn't have tools back in my day. Technology is the future, because if you want to build a workforce that is not aging out, which we know they are, you're going to have to attract the younger generation. And guess what? They grew up on technology. So even though it might be a challenge for you to implement technology inside of your business, another software platform, another tool, your workforce is going to want that. Your future workforce is going to need this. So I love that idea.
You bring up a great point. Build it for them, not for you.
Yeah. Because the goal is for you to not be in the field.
Exactly.
For you to have a business.
I don't want the system that I don't want to use.
Yeah, good. I don't want you to use it either. And neither does your team. Just for the record, your team doesn't want you in there either, because they know you will mess it up. So stay out of it. Don't worry about it. Find one.
No admin privileges.
So we've got recruiting, we got recruit, we've got train, and then there's a retain component. What's the secret sauce there?
Yeah, retaining is going that extra mile for your people on a hyper personalized level, but also on a team level, right? So, you mentioned, the culture side of things in a business, and that's important, right? To make sure you're bringing the right people in that fit the current culture is healthy, but then also seeing all the interactions, engagements with each other, and developing each other and having this open mindset of continual growth. And it doesn't just pertain to on the job. It doesn't just pertain to in the field. It actually can pertain to their life, whether it's helping them learn how to manage their finances, learning how to better manage their time, their anger, things that it's like, hey, this is useful for in the field. It does affect business, but this is also something for you to take home with you and utilize in, having a more well-rounded life, right? Yeah, we want to separate personal life and professional life, but no matter what, they do affect each other, whether we like it or not. So we might as well make both sides as healthy as possible in the ways that we can do it.
So I absolutely agree with you, by the way. I think that's great. But I know there's people listening right now going, oh, okay, I get it. But how do I do that? Like, do you have a tool, or do you have a process that you've found that's been very effective at helping people really, or helping company owners with engaging and retaining their employees by helping them achieve their own personal goals? Because that's what I heard you say. It's what's important to that employee is what the goal should be, not what's important to you.
Right.
So do you have a tool, or, something like Safety Culture, another tool, or something that you found that you're like, that really helps you engage in this space?
Yeah. So that's the cool thing about the Safety Culture, is because we can build all that in the same platform.
Really?
So it's a very smooth transition. It's this house of pretty much everything that your company, your employees are going to need in one place.
Wow.
When it comes to those types of trainings and developments and other stuff that you can do for them, other incentives, it's a great place to house that. Now, what you do outside of that is up to you, right? In terms of how you thank them and how you treat them. But if there's like the development side of things, because I've had clients that I'm working with, mid-level management folks, and they're like, man, if I were to leave this company tomorrow and I go anywhere else, I'm going to look for having this in place because I can't mentally go back now. Like, we've built this training for people, like you were saying earlier, older people don't want to use it. We have people that are 29 years in the field adopting the tools and systems we're putting in place, and other people getting excited about what we've done. He's like, I can't go backwards. Yeah. If I go to another company, I'm going to look for this stuff, and if they don't have it, I'm going to be either upset or a little, leery about, hey, how is this going to go for me? I'm taking a step backwards. And so same thing when it comes to retaining your employees is building all that in one place and making it super user friendly for them.
Yeah, because the reality is no one's going to leave you for $1 more an hour, right? They're not. They're leaving you. They're not leaving the job. We've already talked about that. Yep. But when you incorporate these kinds of things, like you're talking about, Clifton, where not only is the technology there, which the younger generation loves technology, they love being online, any excuse to pull out their phone, right?
True.
But they also see you taking action and saying, hey, what's important to you is important to me. That piece right there, most of them know they're not going to find it somewhere else. Right. So when they do go talk to someone else and they're like, hey, my boss engages me and he's helping me get out of debt, or he's helping me save for a car. Oh, yeah, we don't do that stuff here. They could pay $5 more an hour and he's like, I'm out. Right. Like, yeah. So I love that. So it's really walking the walk, right? We say we care about them, but we do nothing to show them we care. And what you're saying is show them we care, use technology, that kind of stuff. Clifton, this has been great. We could dig into this so much, and I'm sure that you and I could go back and forth, all these different ideas of things we've seen work. If someone wants to learn more about what you're doing, what you're up to, what's the best way to do that?
I mean, the best way to do that is go to our website, first and foremost. You can contact us from there. You can check out my LinkedIn from there and everything else. Serviceleadersystems.com. And right at the top right, once it loads, you'll see that there's this attraction ebook. It's a free ebook PDF that people can download to kind of illustrate what we've just been talking about and some of the nuts and bolts that go into that of things that literally, if you want to and you got the time and the knowledge, expertise of technology, do it yourself, or at least try. And get a good grasp on it and just kind of see where I'm coming from to see if it's even a good fit for us to have a conversation.
I think it's great.
And that's helped a lot of people.
I've downloaded it. I've shared that ebook with my team. They're like, there's a lot of good stuff in here. So they really valued it, and I saw value in it. So make sure you go check that out. And if you're struggling with recruiting, with training people, with retaining them, you got two amazing resources here. Like, I mean, I cannot shout out Core Matters, but what Clifton is doing and his team is doing, and really how they go deep on some of these things and focus on building out these systems and building out the training and helping you with that. Like, training is not something we do. We don't develop training programs. We don't help with that. So, I mean, if you need that training piece, definitely check out what Clifton's doing. Thank you so much for being here today. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, thank you, Ryan. I appreciate your hard-hitting questions that brought some good responses from me because I had to think about it. So I love it.
Oh, I'm a little familiar with the space. So
right.
All right. Thanks. Ryan England here. Thank you so much for listening to Titans of the Trades. If you're a titan in the construction, manufacturing, or skilled trades industry and would like to be a guest on my show, please visit podcast.corematters.com. If you found value in this interview, would you share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot on your phone and share it with a friend or post it on social. And if you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag Titans of the Trades. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, click the subscribe button. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and get me one step closer to solving the labor crisis facing the industry. Want to know more about how we're doing that? go to our website or follow me on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening.